In this video, we'll be taking a look at all today's NCAAB matchups, and I'll break them all down with free winning picks so you can bet smarter and win bigger. But first, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get our picks the second they drop, because when the lines move, the early birds cash in. And if you want the full winning sport picks experience, head over to wspicks.com and check out our VIP packages, or grab a free consultation with one of our professional sports consultants for the sharpest edge you'll find anywhere. That's where the real plays live. We are your bookmaker's worst nightmare. These are the games we're hammering, the ones the books can't afford you to bet. This is winning sport picks. The free picks are about to drop, and they're coming in hot. Tennessee versus Syracuse sets up a classic tempo contrast where Tennessee laying 6.5 leans on defensive stretches to create separation, while Syracuse catching 6.5 thrives only when they can dictate pace and turn the game into half-court execution. The market is expecting Tennessee's physicality to show late, but Syracuse's ability to stay attached early keeps this from being a runaway. With the total sitting at 145.5, the books are signaling a moderate scoring environment that tightens in the final 8 minutes, making every possession crucial. I'm leaning Tennessee minus 6.5 and under 145.5 as the sharper side of this matchup. Iowa versus Michigan State comes down to how well Iowa can sustain efficiency while catching 5.5 in a building where Michigan State, laying 5.5, historically leans on crowd-driven defensive pressure. Iowa tends to hang around early but struggles to protect leads late, while Michigan State's profile suggests steadier second-half execution. The total at 134.5 implies a slower, grind-heavy matchup, one where runs get capped quickly. I like Michigan State minus 5.5 and the under 134.5 for the more structurally reliable angle. Florida versus Duke gives us one of the more volatile setups of the card, with Florida catching 8.5 in a spot where they've historically overperformed as underdogs, while Duke laying 8 thrives when they can push tempo early and force turnovers. The market is respecting Duke's home environment, but the spread signals a possible mid-game swing. The total of 155.5 is high, but reflects Florida's willingness to trade possessions even in tough buildings. I lean Duke minus 8 and the over 155.5 based on pace expectations and transition opportunities. Purdue versus Rutgers is the largest number of the slate, with Purdue laying 16.5 and Rutgers catching 16.5 in a matchup where Purdue's size and structure create almost no margin for error. Rutgers typically covers large numbers only when they dictate tempo, but the talent discrepancy here is reflected fully in the line. With the total at 145.5, the books expect scoring balance without volatility, suggesting Rutgers will need to score more than usual just to avoid a runaway. I'm leaning Purdue minus 16.5 and the over 145.5 as the more stable projection. Connecticut versus Kansas gives us one of the most competitive spreads of the night, with Connecticut laying 1.5 and Kansas catching 2.5 depending on the book. This is the exact type of matchup where UConn's late-game half-court execution matters, while Kansas relies on pace and home control to tilt momentum. The total of 140.5 signals a deliberate, possession-valuing style that rewards disciplined defense. I'm leaning Connecticut minus 1.5 and the under 140.5 for the cleaner structural edge. North Carolina versus Kentucky is the highest total game on the slate, sitting at 160.5, with North Carolina catching 7.5 and Kentucky laying 7.5. These are the kinds of matchups where both teams can go on big momentum swings, but Kentucky's home environment and stronger efficiency metrics suggest they can generate separation late. North Carolina as a dog tends to be competitive early, but gives up pace in the second half. I lean Kentucky minus 7.5 and the over 160.5 due to the expected tempo and scoring profile. Now listen to me, those are the free picks, but the one game I am unloading on tonight, the game that's going to crush your bookie's soul, that's the VIP play of the day at wspicks.com. This is the nuke, the hammer, the max bet, the one play I've circled, the game that will bury your bookmaker 6 feet under. When it hits, and it will, your bookie is going to need a doctor, a lawyer, and maybe even a priest. If you want to ride with me on the biggest bet of the day, get to wspicks.com right now. Now let's run it back so you've got every pick in one place. Tennessee minus 6.5 and under 145.5. Michigan State minus 5.5 and under 134.5. Duke minus 8 and over 155.5. Purdue minus 16.5 and over 145.5. Connecticut minus 1.5 and under 140.5. And Kentucky minus 7.5 and over 160.5. This is Winning Sport Picks, where we don't just bet, we bury bookmakers. Smash that subscribe button, drop your favorite plays in the comments, and hammer that like button like you're hammering your bookie into the dirt. We're cashing, we're dominating, and tonight we're dancing on the grave of your bookmaker. Let's go!